What's going on, guys? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, I just wanted to dive into the latest news and rumors and takeaways that I've been hearing from Vikings training camp, as it has been a drama-filled Vikings training camp with this quarterback battle heating up. So I'll give you guys everything I've been hearing and my thoughts on that coming up on today's show. But with training camp here, I am just getting more excited for the regular season. Like, we are so close to week 1 versus the New York Giants. And if you guys are excited as well, give me a skull down in the comments section. Show off your purple pride. I want the comment section looking like US Bank Stadium, 12 o'clock on big game day. So give me a skull down below if you guys are as fired up as I am for this season to get underway. Now, the top takeaway from training camp, you guys have probably heard it. You guys have seen the clips on social media. J.J. McCarthy is dominating. Now, there was a viral clip that a lot of these Twitter nerds got a hold of that J.J. threw an interception, and it was a bad interception, but it was funny how all these positive clips around J.J. McCarthy throwing touchdowns, absolutely putting the ball on the line, those don't go viral. But the one interception, that's the play that goes viral. It's pretty funny how, social media works in that. But Alec Lewis was writing up an article talking about how McCarthy has looked over the past couple of days, and he says his mechanics look more polished than they did this spring. Throwing left, not a consistent problem. Heaving it deep, McCarthy connected with Christian Jackson Tuesday afternoon on a 50-yard strike down the field against the first-team defense. Now, this is great news. I saw the clip of JJ absolutely lacing the ball to Tristan Jackson going up against Brian Flores and his first-team defense. And McCarthy's been looking the part. The one thing that I've noticed about him, and you guys will hear me say this probably 1,000 times over the next couple of years, talking about McCarthy, the zip he has on the football, it is actually in like the top 1% of the NFL. Like, I'm talking about windows are closing. You got to hit a guy on a slant route, and you got a little half-second window. McCarthy puts that ball in there faster than damn near any other quarterback. We can talk about, the whole arm talent in general, that may not be up there with that top 5% of NFL quarterbacks. But in terms of just juice and velocity on the football, he has it. He actually broke the scouting combine record for fastest throw in NFL history. So he's got juice. He's bringing it, and overall great news. But also Will Regetz, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, somebody let me know down in the comment section. Does great work for Sports Illustrated and Score North. But he wrote in my article saying this about McCarthy. This was another day where McCarthy's upside was evident, even if his good plays were mixed in with some learning moments. Following that deep ball to Jackson, McCarthy booted out left and showed his athleticism by scrambling for a decent gain when he couldn't find an open target. Later, in a red zone 7-on-7 period, he connected with Jackson again on a perfectly placed ball in the back corner of the red zone against man coverage. Now, my take on the quarterback battle right now. I have been saying for the longest time that no matter what happens in training camp, you start Sam Darnold and you sit J.J. McCarthy for a year, because I'm thinking more long-term about the Minnesota Vikings. I retract that statement. Whatever quarterback gives you the best chance to win, you play him. I think this football team is criminally underrated in terms of what they can succeed this season. I think most Vikings fans are like, oh, wow, if we could somehow make the playoffs, I would be shocked by that. I would be thrilled. I want to let you guys know this. This is a stacked football team we have in Minnesota. We got the weapons, we got the offensive line, and now we have one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL in Flores, who has talent on that side of the ball now. This team is loaded in terms of their full 53-man roster. It's going to come down to quarterback play, but after what's seen what Kevin O'Connell did with Nick Mullins, Jaron Hall, and Josh Dobbs last season, I can't imagine what he's going to do with McCarthy and Sam Darnold. Whatever quarterback gives you the best chance to win, you play him no matter what. And also a key note that Will alluded to, talking about McCarthy scrambling. This is something I just thought about. This is the first time in 6 years the Vikings going to have a mobile quarterback. So those 3rd and 4s where, normally Kirk Cousins, if he doesn't see it on his first or second read, plays necessarily dead. We finally have two guys who have that playmaker, who have that backyard football type of feel to them in McCarthy and Darnold. I can't wait to see them continue to duke this out. And these preseason games, I'll tell you what, they got a whole lot more interesting. But from one quarterback dominating to another quarterback struggling. Sam Darnold over the past couple of days has not looked his best, and I don't want to overreact to, Darnold throwing a couple picks and, maybe him not playing his best football out there as, we've heard the reports on Darnold the past couple of years, like he is a great training camp, OTA's quarterback, but he doesn't get it done on game day. Maybe it will flip. Maybe Darnold struggles in training camp, then he dominates on Sunday. I'm not sure, but let's talk about what's been going on with Darnold. Will of SI and Score North said this about Darnold, saying, as for QB1 Sam Darnold, it was a fairly unremarkable day. He was solid in 11 on 11s, but struggled in the red zone period with defensive backs like Byron Murphy and Josh Metellus making strong plays for PBUs. Neither Darnold nor McCarthy threw an interception. Now, I'll say this, Sam Darnold's leash, you're pulling on it, it's getting a lot shorter, man. And especially with the fan base. I kind of alluded to this a couple months ago where I said, I think training camp's going to go around. I think Sam Darnold's going to have a day where he struggles and JJ is going to have a day where he lights it up. And then the fans are going to be sitting there saying, put in JJ McCarthy. We want to see him starting all 17 games. Look at what CJ Stroud, did last season. And I understand all of that. But, I just think with how good JJ's been playing and, Darnold having a couple bad practices, I'm sure these guys in the locker room are probably saying, man, if JJ gives us a better chance to win, let's just ride with him. So I still think Sam Darnold has the lead for QB1, but that leash is no doubt getting a whole lot shorter. But I'll ask you guys this. The question of the offseason, the question of the preseason, pick a quarterback one for me. Type 9 for JJ McCarthy or type 14 for Sam Darnold. I'm still going 14. I'm still going 14 right now, but this is definitely getting a little tighter. But hey, you guys let me know your thoughts down below. Number 3 for me is we can steer away from the quarterback topic here real quick. What about Aaron Jones? This is the one signing of the offseason I've been hyping it up to, guys, as I really do believe he is going to be the biggest reason why the Vikings finally have a strong run game this upcoming season. Well, let's kick it to Alec and see what he said about the former Packers running back. As he says, when asked which players had stood out at camp so far, multiple Vikings players brought up Aaron Jones. Left tackle Christian Darrisaw specifically raved about Jones' skill set and how much the former Green Bay Packer could enhance the run game. Now, Christian Darrisaw, you're a smart football player. I hear what you're saying. I don't think he's going to just enhance the run game. I think he's going to fix it as a whole. The Vikings have ranked 27th and 29th in rushing yards per game over the last 2 seasons. That's been my one gripe with Kevin O'Connell, is I felt like the Vikings have been too much of a finesse football team. Can't really establish a consistent run game throughout the later half of the season. We obviously know if you're going to travel to Chicago, travel to Green Bay in December and January, having a run game is so important. So hopefully Aaron Jones, especially when we head up to Green Bay later in the year, if he's cooking and he's going for 100 yards a game, that would be huge. And plus, you want to make the life on whatever quarterback it is a whole lot easier. Giving him a run game, giving him Justin Jefferson, and a great offensive mind in Kevin O'Connell is a great way to do so. But I got 2 more takeaways from training camp coming up in just a second. But I got to tell you guys about my favorite sponsor we have here at Chat Sports, Game Time. Shout out to Game Time for sponsoring today's show. And if you guys download the Game Time app and use promo code CHATSPORTS, we'll hook you guys up with $20 off your first purchase. Now, if you guys are looking to go to a Minnesota Twins game this summer, you are in luck, as Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. And with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Now, the 4th takeaway we have is not necessarily a takeaway from training camp, but we do have an update on what the hell is going on in the cornerback room. Obviously, with the Mekhi Blackmon injury, we signed Bobby McCain and Fabian Morrow. Those are good pickups, but could there still be a move for a Stefon Gilmore, a Dory Jackson, Xavier Howard still out there? Well, Alec Lewis actually wrote up a great piece about the Vikings cornerback room, a little longer quote here, so stay with me. But he said the Vikings are well aware of their cornerback issues. On Monday, they signed defensive back Bobby McCain, who has played the position, and they also moved safety Jay Ward. Key note here, safety Jay Ward out to cornerback for the first time. On Tuesday, they agreed to terms with the 30-year-old corner, Fabian Moreau, according to NFL Network. Moreau started 11 games last year for the Denver Broncos. He has one thing many of the Vikings' backup cornerbacks don't, experience. But he also said this, does this rule out additional quarterback signings? No. The free agent market is not filled with high-end options, but Stefon Gilmore is the most intriguing. He played for Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores in New England, has started 33 games at corner over the last 2 seasons, and his production has remained. Adding him is a no-brainer, but the Vikings aren't the only team thinking that way. Gilmore's market is going to be robust, and the longer he waits, the more likely it is teams could need his services. Not to mention, the longer he waits, the less time he has to spend at training camp. My message to the front office would be this: be aggressive. I understand that maybe if we're looking like big picture here, that this isn't the year on the J.J. McCarthy timeline where we would think we should be going all in. Look at the Texans last year. They drafted Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud. They didn't have even close to the roster that the Vikings had around those two. But those two popped, led them to the playoffs, won a division title. They look pretty good. That's my argument to the Vikings. What if J.J. McCarthy and Dallas Turner pop year one? What if this is a Super Bowl year? Like, I know it sounds crazy, but what if they really do pop and this whole Vikings team is stacked? I don't make this argument here. If we had Kirk Cousins on this team, who's probably the 12th, 10th best quarterback in the National Football League, we would be talking the Vikings making the NFC Championship right now because of how good the rest of this team is. Well, what if J.J. McCarthy and Sam Darnold play Kirk Cousins level football? We're talking about this football team in a whole different light. So be aggressive. If there's a corner out there that you think could absolutely change this defense, go out and get them. And my last takeaway here is about the tight end position. It's actually funny. I wrote this before today's training camp. Tonyan has been absolutely dominating, which is great news. But unfortunately, he did go down due to injury. I'll keep you guys posted on that. No real news from it just yet. But overall about his play on the field, though, it's been fantastic. And it gets me this: I'm not worried about T.J. Hawkinson's injury. I think heading into this year, I was saying man, are we going to be okay with running out Josh Oliver and Nick Muse, Johnny Munt as the tight ends? That was a little concerning, but with how good Robert Tonyan's played, I'm looking at this room a whole lot differently. If you're rolling out Oliver, Tonyan, and maybe you got N'Keal Harry, Munt, and Muse kind of filling in wherever, you're feeling a whole lot better about this tight end group. Hopefully Hawk's able to come back by, maybe week 7. That's a little optimistic, but that would be absolutely great. But overall, with what I've seen from the tight ends at camp, not worried about that group, being able to maintain its production with T.J. Hockenson out. But I'll ask you guys this. There's a lot of players I am very excited to watch this season, but you guys let me know who you most excited to watch. Pick a player and drop that name down in the comments section. And also, guys, you guys can give me a follow on Twitter at PatSeeps is the handle. Closing in on 1,000 followers, actually. So if you guys could help me out, go give me a follow over there. I'd really appreciate it. But we'll see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes.